All glories assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories, all glories, all glories to Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So today is Ekadashi, special Ekadashi, Nirjala Ekadashi. From morning so many devotees are arriving in the temple. A special occasion Krishna gives so that more and more people comes on some pretext to take his darshan and get purified. So, as we always do on Ekadashi, we read from Srila Prabhupada's Lilamrita. In particular, this book, I'll Build You a Temple, the Juhu story, by His Holiness Giriraj Swami Maharaj, one of the pioneers or great servants of this temple and Srila Prabhupada's follower. So, reading about the glories of a pure devotee or a Mahabhagavata is as purifying and as glorious as studying Srimad Bhagavatam. So that's why Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya is correct, is acceptable. So, इसको इधर करो. So Srila Prabhupada is that empowered devotee who is completely free from any material attractions. And Srila Prabhupada speaks about that himself in 5th canto, chapter 18, purport number 22. So yesterday I was writing my Bhakti Vaibhav assignment. So I came across several purports. So in today's discussion, we will refer to those purports also, very important and relevant for our relishing this section of this book. So first of all, let us offer our praise to the Guru Parampara. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshuronmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kada Mayham Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guroha Shri Yudapada Kamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamsha Namam Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Mukam karoti vachalam pangum langhayate girim yatkripatamaham vande Shri Guru Dinataranam. I seek the blessings of my spiritual master, especially so that I can please him by glorifying his spiritual master, Srila Prabhupada. And also I beg the blessings of Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, especially so that I can please him also by glorifying his dearest servant, Srila Prabhupada. And I beg the blessings of all the followers of Srila Prabhupada so that I can do this service for their pleasure and my purification. So I was not expecting so many devotees will be there, I thought it's the weekdays, so very few devotees will be there. So feeling a little embarrassed also to be sitting here and feeling some other Vaishnava could have done this service today. I even told Himagiri Prabhuji also, if somebody else is there, please feel free. So I seek the blessings of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu that I don't displease him in any way and don't speak beyond my adhikar. So 5:18:22, Srila Prabhupada talks of a sadhu being attached to material property, material opulence, material belongings, material assets. And then Srila Prabhupada quotes a very historical incident openly in this purport, that a disciple of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he actually wanted a material thing, material property of his guru. He wanted to enjoy the property of his guru. And being merciful in nature, go down in the purport. Okay, little below. Next line. Those. Okay, go down. Little more. Okay, little more. Go ahead. Go ahead. Bas. So we'll read from this line. When a devotee acquires unparalleled opulences, they are directed. Somebody can read this on the mic? From this below line, the material opulences.
They are the direct gifts.
No, down. The last line.
Who recites the material opulences a person obtains by offering prayers to the goddess Durga are temporary. As
so these are temporary. Go down.
As described in the Bhagavad-gita 7.23.
Okay, wait a second, Prabhu. Go down. Yeah, we have. From here, please read this.
We have actually seen that one of the disciples of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur wanted to enjoy the property of his spiritual master. And the spiritual master, being merciful toward him, gave him the temporary property, but not the power to preach the cult of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu all over the world. That special mercy of the power to preach is given to a devotee who does not want anything material from his spiritual master, but wants only to serve him. The story of the demon Ravana illustrates this point.
So we can see Srila Prabhupada is very openly, for our education, humbly sharing that who attracts the power to preach or the blessings to preach. And we have the fortune of having our Srila Prabhupada, that Vaishnavacharya who got the blessings to preach, and he did it all across the world. So today is our fortunate day. Once in a fortnight we read about Srila Prabhupada, this empowered devotee of the Lord, empowered servant of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, and understand what it takes to preach and what Srila Prabhupada worked hard to establish this temple in particular. Also from this book we will learn. Thank you. So we will read from page number 345 from this book by Srila Giriraj Maharaj. I'll build you a temple, the Juhu story. I feel some sort of attachment to you. This is Dr. Patel, a famous personality, used to do morning walk with Srila Prabhupada on Juhu beach many times, Dr. Patel. So he is speaking to Srila Prabhupada, that how, Swamiji, you are very special, I feel so attracted to you. I feel some sort of attachment to you. That is why I come. I don't understand why I am attracted to you specially. I don't understand. I have been thinking about it. I am very much thinking there must be some Purva Janma, something from past life. I don't know. No sadhu has been able to attract me as much as you have. Not even temples have attracted me, to tell you the truth. So a sadhu is so attractive. right? Because he is a living Bhagavata. He lives the principles of Shastra and the dealings of spiritual world. And they are so soothing and attractive to the mind and heart. Yashomati Nandan chimed in. There is no sadhu except Prabhupada. On a morning walk the following week, Dr. Patel put forward his theory that the Jews were the greatest people on earth, that they were actually the chosen people of God. The Jews? Prabhupada asked. Really? Dr. Patel confirmed. It's God's choicest race. The devotees laughed, but Dr. Patel insisted. They have produced wonderful people right from Christ up to the Professor Einstein. Very bold people, very bold indeed. They are truthful to their convictions. They would die for their convictions. They would not budge an inch. Brahmananda objected. But they are impersonalists. Dr. Patel pursued his point. Very brave race. They are impersonalists, Brahmananda repeated. Today still very brave. It is the choicest race from God. It's fact. Brahmananda is very pleased, Prabhupada remarked, referring to his disciples' Jewish family heritage. And again we all laughed. So Prabhupada is cutting a joke, knowing well that Brahmananda Prabhu is also from Jewish background. So Prabhupada is telling Brahmananda is very pleased to hear that Jewish are the best race. So Srila Prabhupada, he is humorous. I say one of the qualifications of a pure devotee. I don't know who they are. Who are they? Dr. Patel responded, meaning he didn't know which devotees were Jewish, but that is a fact. When you look back to the history, it's the really choicest race. Giriraj is also from, Yashomati Nandan said. Whatever he may be, I don't know them. Who are they? But historically we look back. They are really very brave people. They have died for the sake of their principle. They never budge an inch. Dr. Patel's praise was encouraging to those who were from Jewish backgrounds. And I glanced at Brahmananda, who smiled at me, and I guessed that he was also reveling. And then he put forth his idea that the Jews were impersonalists. Impersonalist or personalist is immaterial, Dr. Patel countered. I talk of boldness, very bold people, truthful to their conviction, sir. Then Srila Prabhupada broke in. They are so bold, he questioned. And then Prabhupada said that Shylock, by Prabhupada's naming of Shakespeare's fictitious Jewish scoundrel, any of us who had been puffed up by Dr. Patel's words became both deflated and thankful. So, everyone becoming, Dr. Patel was telling Jews are great. And Brahmananda Prabhu was feeling happy. Srila Giriraj Maharaj was feeling now happy. Yeah. So Maharaj is humbly presenting himself. So then Prabhupada deflated everything by saying that some person in the Jewish novel, Shylock, who was a bad person. And after Dr. Patel's broad claims and Prabhupada's reference to a classic stereotypical figure, we were reminded not to accept generalizations based on bodily designations. Prabhupada wanted us to see everyone as individual spiritual beings, eternal servants of Krishna. So Prabhupada ki jai. So two lessons we can learn from here. One is, we can see Srila Giriraj Maharaj not hiding this incident, where humbly he is presenting that I was also feeling inflated, puffed up. But yeah, we are Jews, so we are the people, the choicest race on planet Earth. So this is, one of the signs of great devotees. They don't mind even giving their example when they were, so to say, in the moments of ignorance, to teach the common masses. You can see Srila Prabhupada happily sharing with his disciples about his Grihastha ashram life, how he was thinking about marrying again, second time. Anybody will think, our Guruji Maharaj was not satisfied with the wife, he wanted to marry second time, like another wife, additional wife. But Srila Prabhupada did not mind that, sharing that for the benefit of disciples. Similarly, we can see in Srimad Bhagavatam, right in the beginning, Vyasadeva is not hiding that section where he was in, confusion, and he was morose about whether I have done right or wrong, I am not feeling satisfied. So that very section he himself writes in this re-edited book, Srimad Bhagavatam. to let the people know that how important it is to approach a spiritual master and consult him and take his blessings. So Maharaj following suit, Maharaj is also, happily sharing his moments of ignorance, so to say, Maharaj's humility to teach us. Secondly, we can see how a realized soul is never enamored by any false praise pertaining to the body or nationality or anything related to the body. A normal father mother will become very cheerful when they will see that our son excelled in the academics or some professional field, right? Because our son, connected to my body. So it is very easy to become affected like that. But Srila Prabhupada is correcting immediately that, don't be on the bodily platform. And this brings to our point, to our notice, a great need of always associating with exalted devotees, always spending our time in life around exalted devotees, frequently interacting with them, meeting them, reporting them services, doing services under them, studying Shastras with them, so that they can correct us like this. Because when we listen philosophy, everything looks good. And it appears I am that Messiah who is going to bring the change. But only in such moments our reality is unveiled mercifully by the presence of great devotees, Shri Shri Gaur Nitai, Shri Shri Sitaram Lakshmana Hanuman, Shri Nrsimha Swami, Shri SriRadhaRasbihariTemple Shri Prabhupada ki jai. Lalitha Vishakha ki jai. So very important to have our life closely associated with such devotees. Any devotee, in my experience, any devotee who really wants to practice Krishna consciousness till the last breath must ensure to frequently have such association available and some exchange going on. Either some services, either some discussions, either some projects, either some reporting of services, either some programs, some study, Shastra study, or something going on frequently with such devotees, very inspiring to us if we really want to continue. So here is example of that. Going ahead. When Prabhupada was settling back into his quarters after returning from Mauritius, I noticed a new devotee taking Prabhupada's suitcases out of the trunk of the car. He was dressed as a brahmachari in saffron robes, but had a full head of hair. I asked one of the devotees who accompanied Prabhupada about him and was told that he was Ambarish Das, Alfred Ford, Henry Ford's great-grandson. "Oh, that's Ambarish," I exclaimed. Except for his hair, he appeared like a simple, humble brahmachari carrying Prabhupada's suitcases. It was decided that Ambarish would come out with me. I was meeting top people and getting support for the Juhu project. And having Alfred Ford with me would be a great boon. I formulated a list of all the really wealthy people who had been avoiding me. There weren't that many because most of the aristocratic people then were quite pious. But I compiled a list of the most materialistic entrepreneurs in Bombay and hard nuts to crack. Found them and said, "Alfred Ford has come from America and he would like to meet you." That opened a lot of doors. But although I anticipated that these difficult people would change their minds by seeing Ambarish, many of them, when they met him, seemed to think he is an heir to a great fortune and he has become a Hare Krishna. What's wrong with him? So it didn't work out quite the way I hoped. So in preaching, yes, different strategies do get fail, but we should not be hopeless or morose, even if we are attacked, let alone simple failures. In the section of Srimad Bhagavatam where Narad Muni was rebuked heavily, castigated by Daksha, in those purports, Srila Prabhupada writes very inspiring, encouraging statements that even if attacked or anything, devotees will never be desisted. Devotees will never desist from preaching. They will never be dejected. from their constant endeavors to preach the mission of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Srila Prabhupada. So here, sometimes our strategy may fail, but then you can change a new strategy. We can see in Srila Prabhupada when he went America newly, so Srila Prabhupada was trying different things, teaching Sanskrit classes or morning, evening classes, or even going to some Tagore theatre or somewhere. Some classical, traditional Indian performance was there. Srila Prabhupada went there to see how people are receiving Indian culture, and all the people were mesmerized by the performance of the stage artist. But Srila Prabhupada, instead of looking at the stage artist, was looking behind at the audience, how they are enjoying this performance, and always thinking how I can connect them to Krishna consciousness some way or the other. So like this, a devotee should never be dejected, demotivated from constant endeavors to preach. Even if the result is little, but constantly trying to transform the lives of people and bringing more and more happy people in this Krishna consciousness movement to keep pushing forward this mission for thousands of years. When we were out, I was really strict. I wouldn't go to restaurants or juice bars or spend money on anything. It was hot and humid, and Ambarish would ask, "Can't we stop for a few minutes, have a juice or something?" "No," I would respond. "No Maya, no compromise." Only once did I agree, when I felt a little compassion or a glimmer of it, and we went into a snack bar and got some fresh fruit juice. So Srila Giriraj Maharaj is teaching how devotees should be extremely rigid in their food. Last night, Shukishore Sudama Prabhu was giving Bhagavad-gita class, and I happened to visit the temple hall. And I listened to Prabhuji's class for a few minutes. Prabhuji was telling very strongly that he was giving a story of a dog, how by controlling the food of the dog, the tail of the dog was straightened up. And then Prabhuji was telling, although he himself goes to so many house programs and all, he was telling, never ever eat outside anywhere. Be very strict and clear in that. And again, yesterday, 5:18:10. 5:18:10. Again, yesterday I came across a purport of Srila Prabhupada. I was very surprised to see first time openly in a purport Srila Prabhupada is telling why the devotees menu for the devotees, why it should be very extravagant or something. Right in Bhagavatam purport, Srila Prabhupada is writing this. And Srila Prabhupada, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also said that Jivere lalasa iti utidhai Krishna dara parayana Krishna nahi paye. Whom Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu told this to? Yeah, Raghunath Das Goswami. Thank you, Narasimha Puja Prabhu. Yeah, go down at the end of the purport. Last 4 lines. Bas. See, read this. Somebody has a mic. Why should
the menu be unnecessarily increased for the satisfaction of the tongue?
So this is not a letter of Srila Prabhupada, personal letter to a temple president. No, this is a purport of Srila Prabhupada. And openly in purport Srila Prabhupada is telling. Please
Devotees should eat as simply as possible.
Full stop. Devotees should eat as simply as possible. Full stop. And Srila Prabhupada exemplified this from his own life. And we have the example of Shadu Goswamis also. And they kept their food very, very simple. Go ahead.
Otherwise,
Now Srila Prabhupada is telling the caution, the danger what will happen if we don't listen to this commandment of Srila Prabhupada or request of Srila Prabhupada.
Otherwise, attachment for material things will gradually increase, and the senses, being very strong, will soon require more and more material enjoyment.
So this is the problem. That senses will demand more and more enjoyment. And it will be difficult to get up in the morning. It will be difficult to pick up Srila Prabhupada's books. It will be difficult to go out for book distribution. It will be difficult to clean the temple. It will be difficult to clean our own room even. Because senses are now oriented and practiced and clamoring for enjoyment. They are not practiced for abnegation, let alone surrender. So very deep knowledge Srila Prabhupada is revealing here for our benefit. Go ahead.
Then the real business of life to advance in Krishna consciousness will stop.
Right? So it's very, very important. Rupa Goswami also says Atyahara Vinashyati. Okay, going ahead from our reading. Srila Giriraj Maharaj writes, my room was in the building right next to Prabhupada's where Ambarish was staying. Every morning I would come to the window and call Ambarish Prabhu, and Ambarish would think, oh, we are going to go out and do this again. Once I came into Prabhupada's room when Ambarish was speaking to him. Prabhupada, he was speaking, why does Giriraj have to go out every day and collect like this? I'll just build the temple for you. But Prabhupada said no. Then Ambarish got dysentery. And on the morning walks on Juhu beach, he would see planes flying over, some going to America, and he will think, oh my God, get me on one of those planes to America. When Ambarish had been in Juhu for 2 weeks, Prabhupada inquired, so Ambarish Maharaj, you are feeling all right or not? Yes, I am feeling well today, Ambarish replied. You are taking yogurt? Prabhupada asked and told the devotee give him khichdi and yogurt. He won't eat yogurt, Harikesh responded. I eat mixed with Sat Isabgol, Ambarish said, for dysentery. Take yogurt with black pepper and salt, Prabhupada advised him. During one morning walk, Prabhupada spoke about being focused on one goal and related it to his success in establishing Krishna consciousness and to Ambarish. Vyavasayatmika buddhir ekeha kurunandana bahushakha hyanantascha buddhayo vyavasayinam. Avyavasayinam bahushakha and vyavasayinam one. From practical point of view, from business point of view also, I started the Krishna consciousness business with 40 rupees. Now we have 40 crores. Who has got such business success? Bring anyone within 10 years. And here is Ambarish Maharaj. He is ready to give us any amount of money. Ambarish Maharaj, yes. Whole Ford company. Who else has got this business? I think there is no such history in the world to begin business with 40 rupees and within 10 years it becomes 40 crores. One cannot even imagine. Before Ambarish left Bombay, he had a serious meeting with Prabhupada about his future. Prabhupada told him that he wanted him to work. Almost all the devotees in ISKCON were full-time. They lived in the temple and were engaged in serving the mission. But to Ambarish, Srila Prabhupada said that he wanted people to see that one could be a devotee and still be a responsible member of society. So here is an important lesson. Bhakti yoga begins when even the work we do is ordered by a spiritual master. In his purport to 7.5.23, Srila Prabhupada twice mentions this point, explaining the word adha directly. Bhagavati adha. That it should be directly offered. And then elsewhere in his lectures on 4th chapter of Gita, corroborating the same point, Srila Prabhupada explains that karma yoga is a person when he does some pious, scripturally approved work and offers the result, a part of the results for the service of Lord Shri Krishna. That is karma yoga. But a bhakti yoga is not that. Bhakti yoga is when you are working even your company, your business or whatever, as approved and desired by the spiritual master. Like that. So very important to understand this core principle very carefully. Otherwise, just doing some work of our liking in our place, devoid of any close association of devotees, barely able to chant our rounds, and that too in the late nights or traveling in trains, and earning money and piling up in the bank account, and giving 1100 rupees to the Guru when he visits. I have not found in my understanding of Srila Prabhupada's teachings that is Bhakti Yoga. Some type of Karma Yoga, or of course we cannot judge anybody, because here Ambarish Prabhu is going back to go to America and lead a very big business which he is doing even to this day after 5 decades. But because it is ordered and desired by the spiritual master, that becomes pure devotional service. Even killing 64 crore men bags a title for Arjuna as a pure devotee, because it is ordered by Guru. So here we have to understand this very core, crucial point. Ambarish asked, must I work with the Ford Motor Company? No, Prabhupada replied, that is your choice, but you should do some work. People should see that you are doing some work. If I am working, Ambarish inquired, what will I do for association? If while you are working, you are thinking, I am doing this for Krishna, Prabhupada said, that will be your association. About those days, Ambarish later recalled, Giriraj Swami taught me everything I know about fundraising. When I first became a devotee, I went to Bombay and Maharaj was sacrificing himself to get the temple built in Juhu, and he engaged me very nicely. I was a very green devotee built in Juhu. I was a very green devotee and a spoiled kid from suburban Detroit. So I was in culture shock from being in India, but he had such a nice character and was such a wonderful personality. He had a room across the alley, and every morning he would come to the window and call, Ambarish, I couldn't get away. So we worked a lot, but it was really a wonderful experience to be there. My function was to get us in and with Maharaj to make the life members out of people who had been slamming the door in the face of the devotees. But Maharaj had to conceal the truth a little to get us into their offices. He would say, Mr. Ford is in India and he would like to meet with you. But as soon as the life membership material came out, they would throw us out of the office. It was a very humbling experience and I bowed down to his feet. He really gave his life to build the temple and it is so important. Shri Giriraj Maharaj ki jai. RadhaRasbihari were living in a shed and Srila Prabhupada was so happy to have the temple built. He was very, very proud of that temple. When we met again years later, Ambarish told me, I want to apologize because I was kind of a baby back in those days and I was kind of sick, but I take the dust off your feet because you really taught me so much, and now that I am engaged in trying to help build the Mayapur project, the example of your laser focus on getting the temple built in Bombay is such an inspiration for me that I am very, very grateful for your association during those days. I remember them fondly. So this is another very wonderful lesson. The difficulties encountered while working with devotees will become the greatest memories or the greatest cherish eventually later on in the life. So we should not shirk an opportunity to encounter difficulties, particularly in Sankirtan bus party, especially in this rainy season, the most, Even winters you can handle with some clothing and all, but rain, everywhere it's raining, difficult. But still, when we encounter these difficulties, like Sudama and Krishna, they were encountering difficulties while pursuing the mission of spiritual master to fetch the wood. And those difficulties, decades later, Krishna and Sudama, when they met together in Dwarka, hand in hand, they were fondly remembering those difficulties and so cherishing those moments happily. So, similarly, pursuing the mission of Srila Prabhupada, especially in today's day and age, it's not easy. And with the association of devotees, we should go on pursuing or trying to face all the difficulties to push forward this important mission, as exemplified by Srila Prabhupada by his personal example, undergoing extreme difficulties across the globe at the fag end of his life, just to push forward this greatest beneficent mission, beneficial mission. When we met the hard nuts and they discovered that we were approaching them for donations or to make them life members, sometimes they would throw us out of their offices. So there were a lot of lessons of humility in those days. But I thank you for your association back then. It was really wonderful. It cut my teeth. Ambarish Prabhu is sharing humbly. On my side, I felt bad. Now, Giriraj Maharaj is reflecting. On my side, I felt bad. I felt that I had been insensitive to Ambarish's needs and background, and that I had driven him beyond his capacity. In fact, I considered it a wonder or miracle that he didn't leave Krishna consciousness altogether after those 2 weeks with me. So Srila Giriraj Maharaj is teaching another lesson, that we should be sensitive to devotees while serving together with them, trying to be sensitive to their needs of prasadam or accommodation or rest or traveling, etc. Right? And understanding what background they have come from, especially they are new to Krishna consciousness in the formative years. So trying our best to have them very good experience in the beginning years of Krishna consciousness, so that those good memories last long and they can persevere when we have to fight the battle with anarthas and pursue our life's greatest mission, Krishna consciousness. One morning, 2 friendly, elderly, pious political leaders, P.K. Sawant and V.S. Page, came to meet Srila Prabhupada and he preached to them and asked them to join his movement. No, they said, in our positions we can't do that. Then he asked them to support the movement, but again they objected, no, in our position we can't do that either. Finally, Prabhupada requested, then at least don't harm our movement. And they both became very excited and together assured him, no, we will never do that. Somehow or other, directly or indirectly, no, Maharaj is telling a wonderful lesson for us. Somehow or other, directly or indirectly, Prabhupada was determined to extract from them some commitment that was favorable to Krishna consciousness. So this is the genius, the glorious compassion of a great devotee, that he wants to engage every jiva in some service to Krishna. And with his transcendental intelligence, he will fight best to ensure and try that every jiva is engaged in some service to Krishna. And as we can see here, transcendentally, blissfully, Srila Prabhupada and asked them, okay, this big thing and this thing, okay, fine, at least this much, never harm our movement. And that much commitment also is great, because creating goodwill for ISKCON is a very powerful service which we can do. Sometimes I travel here and there for some service, and we come across people, conductor, bus conductor, or vendors or sellers or general people when we are doing Harinam or book distribution. You can see that in this region, good previous visiting ISKCON devotees have created a very nice goodwill. Like for example, we were in Bhandara a few years ago doing book distribution, and myself and Manoram Gauranga Prabhu were standing at the door, the main gate of a very big school, JC's convent school. So, and we were very hopeless that they will allow us entry in the school even. Still we were trying to talk with the security guard, and he was telling, no, go out. So, as we were talking to him, at least let us meet the principal for a few moments. That in the meanwhile, some peon, turned up from inside the campus of the big school, and he said, "Oh, Maharaj, please come, principal madam has called you." And we were very surprised and very happy also. Thank you, Krishna. We quickly he ushered us in. We went inside, and then we met with the principal, and we found that few years ago, some devotees had visited that school actually. And those devotees left a very good impression on that principal. She had even invited them to her home for house program. She was so happy with their kirtan and their dealings and their respectful behavior and everything. So we can learn that in our ISKCON Leads program also, I remember Raj Bihari Prabhu, a South Indian devotee, formerly Mira Road devotee. So he was teaching that how goodwill has saved ISKCON from difficulties, unnecessary difficulties, many places or many times, many moments in the past few decades. So it's very important for all of us devotees that wherever we travel, we meet, come across people, we try to leave them with good impression. Vaisheshika Prabhuji, October 2017, gave a seminar here on book distribution. So this point he was very strongly emphasizing that all of us devotees is very important, especially in the modern day and age where people have no higher purpose in life. They largely go by the word of mouth and what feels good here and now. So they don't have higher purpose. Okay, these people are living for the higher purpose of life. Even if they're a little crude or rude or harsh in behavior, still they're actually talking the right thing. Let us not mind. Let us give them space or good dealings. Gone are those days when people have some higher knowledge of some higher purpose. Now everybody, even in India also, largely works with the principle of what feels good here and now. And if you leave them with good impression, they will talk that good impression to their colleagues and their neighbors and their relatives and their family members. And that will help the future devotees of ISKCON to spread ISKCON's preaching, Srila Prabhupada's books, very effectively. So this simple preaching we can do even in our family, to our family members, always, by leaving them a good impression of us being a devotee or connected to ISKCON. Must I work with... No, this is done. This is done. Ye ho gaya. So this Mr. Savant and Page, I remember another anecdote related to them. So His Holiness Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj was telling not once, if you see in archives, folio, 2003 Silver Jubilee celebrations of our temple, in that there is a speech by His Holiness Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj in that, if you see, Maharaj is telling that how this person actually, Mr. Page, he is the person who was a Marathi scholar, he and Savant. And they actually read that stone, which is there in Srila Prabhupada's quarter, that big stone slab which was found below here, when we were digging here. Prabhuji? Savant. This P.K. Savant and V.S. Page. Patil. Okay. So we have the fortune of Prabhuji's association presence here. History comes alive by Prabhuji's correct remembrance. Thank you, Prabhuji. So this personality actually identified that this script of Marathi is 500 years old. And so Srila Prabhupada was very happy to know that 500 years ago there was a temple of Ganeshji in this place. So some extra moments. So I'm thinking, since we have Prabhuji's presence here, we have some 5, 10, 12 minutes. I beg Prabhuji, if you have anything to add, we'd like to share something on this, anything. Thank you.
Yeah, Patil was one of our employees. I think he died somewhere in 85 or 88. So he was a tall man, and he was the Maharashtrian, and he was our maintenance manager, going to municipality here, there, that was Patil. And Dr. Patel was different. So you are talking about Jewish.
Yeah.
Yes, you said about Amrish Prabhu and Giraj Swami, this thing. I also have experience. Giraj Swami was temple president, I was temple commander. So he used to make me cry. If I have to go to buy, in Matunga, there was a king store. And we used to get our devotee supply from there. Now devotee a different way. Though the temple commander had dhoti, kurta, toothbrush, toothpaste, everything. And every Sunday I used to give out. So when I had to buy the new stock, Giraj Swami will tell, bring the old one. So I have to keep, if I had to buy a dozen of broom, he will say, bring the old broom. And many a time, where I am going to ask for toothbrush from devotee. But then we kept one bucket that anybody who gets a new toothbrush, first they have to deposit the old one, then they get the new one. So I had to show him. So talking about Jewish. But same time, it was 82 or 92 when Prabhupada's son court case was going on. Tamal Krishna Maharaj was here, and by the time we also got Giraj Swami. He was banned, but then we brought him back somehow or other. So once we were having prasadam in room number 406. Tamal Krishna Maharaj used to stay in 405 and 406.
Battery maybe.
So Tamal Krishna Maharaj is also Jewish. Usually you see Jews are very conducive in expending on themselves. But when they have to give something, they give big. And they are compared with Madhwari. He said, Kanjus Madhwari. So Tamal Krishna Maharaj is also a Jewish. He was also a Jewish. So I was saying we were having prasadam, and then one devotee, Abhiram Prabhu, he is still there somewhere in America. Now he's suffering. So Abhiram Prabhu was there. I was there, Sridhar Swami, Giraj Swami, and Tamal Krishna Maharaj. So Abhiram said, that we can see the two sides of same coin. Just all at sudden, because Tamal Krishna Maharaj, if you know, he was very fussy in everything. Very fussy. In eating, it is Gujarati prasad, then everything had to be Gujarati. So once Mr. Sethi's house, some prasad came, and he had a servant Narottam, and he served that. And Maharaj got very upset. He said, what is this Rasa Vas? Gujarati means Gujarati, not Punjabi. Punjabi and Gujarati mix. So once we were taking prasadam, and then Abhiram Prabhu made a joke that Giraj Swami and Tamal Krishna both are, two sides of same coin. So Giraj Swami and myself, we couldn't figure out what he's talking about. He said, look, both of them are Jewish. Giraj is also Jewish and Tamal is also Jewish. But Giraj is Mahakanjus and Tamal is charitable. He will give anything. Giraj Swami are very picky. In eating also, he will eat alone. Sometime, maybe somebody. Tamal Krishna Maharaj, 5-6 devotees had to be there. Big feast. Then Tamal Krishna Maharaj said, that's a catchy point. Tamal Krishna said, I don't belong to Jewish community anymore. I belong to Hare Krishna community.
Hare Hare.
And Hare Krishna community means Prabhupada taught us to give. So we like to give. That was, since he mentioned about Jewish, so I just mentioned.
Yeah, I can understand Prabhuji, because even Srila Jayadvaita Maharaj, so he here in the room once personally talking, he was confiding with me that, he was sharing with me.
He is also Jewish.
Yeah. He said, I hate spending money. Yes, please continue.
Bhurijan is also Jewish. I can keep the name. Anyway, one thing you were talking about Prabhupada, that Juhu project is pride. So I just want to request everyone, let Juhu temple remain Juhu temple. This is Prabhupada temple. I was leading Guru Puja today. Devotee didn't know how to dance. They can't even sing the old Prabhupada tune. One devotee was praying Kartal, he couldn't even put the Kartal. So you are the youth preacher. Please, let us keep Prabhupada Juhu as Prabhupada gave us. Prabhupada said, whatever I have given, maintain it. If you start adding something, you will simply spoil it. Like dancing, look at Lord Chaitanya, how they are dancing so blissfully. This is what we need to dance. They call Swami a step. Why are we going up, down, rush dance like this? Why do you need it? At least not here in Juhu temple. And everything we do here for the pleasure of Radharasbihari, not for our pleasure. So Prabhupada will be proud of all of us if we follow him as he has given. Otherwise we are going to spoil it. After some time, ISKCON will not look like ISKCON. It will look something else. But not what Prabhupada established. Therefore, we need to go back in Prabhupada, read his books more. Just like when you are reading the purport, so nicely Prabhupada put it about the habit of eating. Right? I was in Mandi, IIT Mandi, they have convocation. So Lila Krishna Prabhu was showing us around, and they are creating a robot for doing different things, that how a robot can do the packing and getting the things and packing. I remember a few years back in Chicago, there is one Mr. Roy from Andhra. He has a restaurant, whole mall, they call Bombay Mall. And in Bombay Mall there is a restaurant. And in restaurant, you will find only customer. Nobody, no living entity there, only customer. Other mosquito and all this, but only customers, one who go to eat. On the gate, there is a robot. If you go to get the order, there is a robot. Order is given to the robot. He goes, he brings whatever you order. Cooking is done by robot. I have somewhere my photo here. He took me to show around. The cooking is done by robot. The robot was making, I think, popcorn. So that person, the owner, he pressed the button, popcorn, and the robot went, got the, the corn, and this hot tawa there, put there, got butter, got some salt, everything, and then everything computerized. It came, served. So I was talking to BKG, we were together, and he said, just imagine if we start eating the food cooked by a steel, so our heart will become a steel frame. We'll have no feeling. We'll have no feeling. And whatever we eat, जैसा खाएंगे अन्न वैसा बनेगा मन. तो लोहा का खाएंगे तो लोहा बनेगा. So I don't know where the world is going. Therefore, we should only eat which is cooked by devotees. Or cook ourselves. That's the best thing.
Prabhuji, His Grace Gokuleshwar, would you like to say something? Okay, any devotee has any comments or corrections or... So as His Grace Devakinandan Prabhuji was mentioning, to very thoroughly understand what Srila Prabhupada wants to give and thoroughly understand and then present it as it is. So just to add with this, recently I was reading Srila Prabhupada's lectures on the 4th chapter of Gita, and many of those lectures are given by Srila Prabhupada in July 1966, even before incorporation of ISKCON, and few lectures just 2-3 days after incorporation of ISKCON. Prabhuji? Okay. Prabhuji, those lectures are July 1966, New York. So I was seeing that how very new boys are sitting in front of Srila Prabhupada. Very new boys. And Srila Prabhupada is speaking pure, direct philosophy from Srimad Bhagavad-gita, explaining we are suffering. The main problem is birth, old age, disease and death. We are not supposed to die. We are meant to live long and longest and forever. And Gita is telling that you can connect with God, go back to Vaikuntha. So I was very much relishing how Srila Prabhupada actually. I had heard one lecture of His Holiness Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj in 2015. Maharaj gave in Atlanta. 32 minutes lecture, very short lecture, very fine lecture. Maharaj was telling this point that even after not succeeding in India for decades, when Srila Prabhupada went to America, not that he changed anything, changed his strategy, changed the message, changed the emphasis, nothing. Maharaj was saying the same thing, that anybody will feel that in India, who everybody knows Gita, there I could not successfully preach. So in America, let me dilute the philosophy somewhat to appeal to the masses, and gradually then I will boil the milk. No. Maharaj was telling how Srila Prabhupada, even when he reached America, from beginning only, did not change the message. He presented Srimad Bhagavad-gita as it is. And whoever is the ripe soul, ready looking for God, they will connect. And that actually did happen. Such souls connected, and with Srila Prabhupada's purity and divine desire and divine empowerment, history was created. So we are very thankful to Srila Prabhupada, and we are thankful to His Grace Devakinandan Prabhuji for kindly sharing his insights, making the discussion very lively. Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you to all the Vaishnavas. Grantharaj, Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. I'll build you a temple, the Juhu story ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. ISKCONJuhu, Bhakti Vrinda ki jai. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.